Nineheis. I am the host of the Coney Island reunion for the Warriors. When you wait a whole lifetime for something and it just drops in your lap, especially with everything with this huge festival coming up, I am actually in the presence of greatness. I am here with the absolute love of everybody's life that has anything to do with the Warriors. Walter Hill, thank you so much for this. This is once in a lifetime for everybody, and you are here, and we've got 4,000 people staring at this screen. I just want to thank you myself. Thank you from everybody for this film. This is just amazing, just amazing. My first question is from Patrick Smith at Rolling Stone. How was the experience of actually making this film?
Well, first I want to thank everybody that's here in the audience. It makes an old man happy 37 years later that so many people seem to care about the movie and do care about the movie. And my memories of making the film are somewhat clouded by time, and you know, it's kind of like high school athletics. We all get to be better athletes the longer it's been since we've graduated. So I've probably forgotten some of the hard times, and I have a very good memory of the people that made the film, helped make it. It has lingered in people's imagination. I get asked about it more than any other film that I've ever made. And at this point, I guess I'm privileged to say that I am proud to have been part of it. I would like to say, though, that inevitably, when this much time's gone by, there are those that are no longer with us. And I would like to acknowledge a few of those that were very, very critical in the making and the presentation of the film. And I'm, with one exception, I'm talking about actors. Lynn Thigpen, Ed Sewer, Roger Hill, A.J. Bakunis, Marcelino Sanchez, Paul Greco, Irwin Keyes, and I want to salute the person I was probably closest to on the making of the film, during the making of the film, Andy Laszlo, our cameraman extraordinaire, who pulled us through many, not only did an excellent job of photography, but his personal character meant so much in making the film and just inspiring me to go out there every day and keep at it. So I'd like to thank all those people, and I know many of their relatives are here in the audience, so thank you.
Thank you for saying that.
Sorry, what was the question?
Well, the question was, how was the experience of making it, which you really just hit home on. And you know, I know Marcelino's family and a lot of Marcelino's. I mean, a lot of people may or may not know you actually attended Rembrandt's funeral. I mean, these Warriors actually do mean more to you than most people would ever expect from a director. But your heart and your soul is in this film. I mean, everything about it is just Walter Hill.
Well, it was. It wasn't your usual filmmaking experience. We came together. First place, nobody wanted to make the movie. Second place, that is to say, the studio made it with their left hand. It got made for reasons of other films that were made, and they thought they might make a quick buck out of it. Nothing wrong with that, but that's
well, it's the business.
That's the business.
Yeah.
We had a hard time casting it because we had no money. It was going to be a scale job. It was going to be made under rough conditions. And it wasn't just, it was a lot of work in New York that summer, and it was not a fashionable film of the 6 or 7 movies that were being made. There was no money. It was all night work. It was down in kind of miserable places to work. It was all outdoors. So it was, it wasn't everybody's cup of tea. So it was hard to crew up. It was hard to cast the film. The cast had to be selected not simply because of their acting ability, but they also had to be physically capable of taking the rigors of what we were going to do. And I knew this was going to be a real workout for these kids, and so that had to be calculated in my mind when we were casting. I also can't say enough about Larry Gordon and Frank Marshall, who really kept a bubble around me and let me just make the movie, and they dealt with the studio. And they kept the studio kind of away from the situation. We had problems, we were way over. It's one of the few movies I've ever done where we went over schedule. We had a lot of bad weather, we had some bad luck on some injuries to key personnel, key cast, and we also had miscalculated the amount of work that we could get done outside at night in New York. The nights were quite short, much to our surprise. So that was our fault, but the movie took longer than we anticipated, and that never makes the financiers very happy. So, but Larry and Frank kept me away from those shouting matches and just let me make the movie. I was obviously a lot younger then, and half crazy, I think. And I know that I can remember I wanted to edit the movie, shoot and edit the movie around the principles of Sergei Eisenstein. I had been reading and studying Eisenstein at the time, and I thought maybe with a very modern film to use his theories of montage would still work. So I was somewhat experimental in that, and I wanted to be experimental in the idea of the comic book graphic approach and the use of color. So as I say, you had to be half crazy to want to be doing all this in the middle of summer.
Yeah. You know what's so funny is I get a lot of mixed reviews on the director's cut. I thought it was brilliant to bring in the cartoon style as part of the transitions into a lot of the scene. How many variations of the Warriors actually are there in print right now? I was told 4.
I have no idea. There's a television version, which is dreadful. There's what they call the director's cut, which really is not. It was my estimation of what the movie would have been had the studio allowed me to make the movie as promised at the time. It would have been different than that because the cartoon elements would have been different, because it would have been different artists. And the brief preamble, spoken preamble, was going to be the voice of Orson Welles. Studio didn't want all that. I realized that version is not everybody's favorite. I respect that. Those that saw the movie and liked it the way it was, that's fine. It obviously got through to a lot of people. And the only thing I say about what they call this director's cut, which is basically a recreation of what the director, it's closer to what the director was trying to do then, is about the way I'd put it. You can kind of see what the movie would have been had the studio not interfered or broken their promises. You can certainly take the position that the studio did the right thing, and the version that we made for less money was better. So I leave that to the good audience who likes the film and appreciates our efforts.
And going back to what you're saying about a lot of the fans and having this be the most popular movie with the general audience that you've done to date, I mean, 37 years, have the fans changed a lot, or is it still that same hard-hitting, die-hard, everybody knows the movie, can you dig it style of, yeah, I mean, that's everybody, can you dig it? That's the catchphrase. And come out and play, yay, everybody knows it.
Well, I think, look, when the movie came out, it was unexpectedly a hit, and it was also unexpectedly very controversial because of some incidents of violence that were associated with the film, wrongly associated with the film, in my opinion. But that's a different question.
Okay.
And the movie received a certain kind of notoriety. So that was in the air for a couple of years. And then, I would be asked about it. And then it seemed to go through the normal kind of, quietude. And it was a movie from 10 years. And then suddenly it became a kind of cult, often revived at midnight. So I would get a lot of people asking me, and the nature of the audience, I would say, there are those that saw the movie when it first came out, had an enjoyable experience, and I've always been amazed at and pleased at the intensity of their feelings about the film when they saw it, how strongly it grabbed them. Because the movie is a pretty simple little film, but it really grabbed a lot of people emotionally, and they had strong, visceral reactions, positive visceral reactions. They had fun. That was one of the things that I think in all this about the Warriors that gets a bit forgotten, is that the movie's a lot of fun to watch for a lot of people. It's a satisfactory drama in the rise and fall of the story. The characters are simple, but at the same time very comprehensible and sympathetic. The dilemma is an interesting one, and rather different than most films that were being made. So there was that group. And then there was those that saw the film in a revival situation or videotape, and then there was the whole rap generation that took the film up and gave it a kind of new, I would say, reinterpretation, and it meant a lot to them, and that reinvigorated a lot of interest in the movie. And
Wu-Tang, Ice-T, I mean, all these rap groups, Pop Elite itself, this little techno band from England, did a song, Can You Dig It? And they used excerpts from the film. Can You Dig It is the catchphrase for this film, and it's universal.
And there were, and so many, we were carried along too. I mean, so many famous athletes, and every time Shaq would win with the Lakers out here, he would start yelling, "Can you dig it?" When they were world champion, and so that, again, certain phrases from the movie somehow got into the common vernacular. And that tended to,
that is so great.
Promote the memory of the film. And now, I guess it's just reached the point you can't get rid of it. I don't know. It's almost 40 years, and I will truly say that none of us expected to be still talking about the movie in quite the current way, that it still has a life. 40 years ago, we didn't see this down the road.
Yeah, September 13th, we have 15 of your cast members all getting together to honor you and honor this film. They have all been running each other over trying to make this the best thing possible. I am officially asking you, you know, if you were going to be able to come. Your schedule's not permitting the reunion at Coney, but are you participating in any of these reunions completely off the table?
I'm not sure I understand the last part.
Okay, let me rephrase that. On September 13th, the entire cast is coming together. Your schedule isn't permitting you to be there because you're shooting this new film. We have 2 or 3 more reunions before we wrap up the whole Last Subway Ride reunion series. Can we look forward to possibly seeing you at one of these reunions with the entire cast?
Let me say this. I am very sorry that I can't be there in September. I have other than dreadful illness, I have the only proper excuse that I could really give you, and that is that I'm tied up making my next movie. And I think everybody will forgive, that's a point of forgiveness. In the future, and I salute the cast that's there, and I really do wish, I mean, these are old friends and acquaintances and people that I think they probably don't realize how much I think about them, and most of them I teased unmercifully while we were shooting. So, and I'd like to give it to them again, you know. So, and in the future, I mean, schedule permitting, I'd be very happy to go to one of these things and reacquaint myself with everybody. You know, I don't want that list to get longer before of those that are no longer with us, before I get a chance to say hello.
Well, I really want to thank you. You have literally completed my full circle of this film. I really want to thank Walter Hill, the director of The Warriors. I want to thank everybody at Coney Island for backing me to get to Walter, and thank to Conrad Sheehan for making this happen. He's given me the big, but thank you again. I'll see you guys on the 13th. Can you dig it? Thank you, Walter.
Can you dig it? Thank you.